Hi all. So the car is finally ready for first startup. We are basically finalising just snag list items, which really I don't need to worry about for the dyno itself. That's more for like more for getting it ready for the road. All of the exhaust system now is bolted up and should hopefully never come back off unless we're doing modifications. So all now are on, all the fire rings are now installed in the wastegates, which I've never done before, so theoretically they're back in there for the first time. We took the top of the wastegates apart to get the fire rings in, so when we clamped all the V-clamps, basically the fire rings weren't trying to, or the thing wasn't trying to push the damn, the stem wasn't trying to push us away from the spring. And the spring's mahoosive. It is really quite big. I had to double check with the color of the spring on the Tile Wastegate website just to be sure that it is a half bar spring. So realistically we are like 7 point something psi on the springs, 0.522 bar I think it's saying. Oh, printer's finished, that's good. Next bit, you know. So yeah, so just confirm we've got the right springs in the wastegates. So we're only going to run about 7 psi for base spring pressure. Obviously with the two Mac valves we can now we can double that in a 3-port situation, so we can go to 1 bar of boost, but I don't think I'm ever going to need a huge amount more than 1 bar. We may have to up it a little bit to go to 1 megawatt, but that's we're only going to really use that on race gas. So that's going to be an occasional use only type of thing. We have fuel in the car as well now. So we have tested all the fluid systems apart from the charge cooler. And if we now make it easier to see, pull the wheel off. And yeah, it's a good idea, Clive. Hang on a second. Give me 2 ticks. I can make sure the battery system's installed. Still getting used to putting this in. Okay. There we go. So now we can fire up. Obviously the dash now is fully working and integrated, as is the new Greyhill Mtron based key unit or keypad. So now basically we have first stage fuel pumps. So this is the suction pumps that will basically flow into the swill pot, and then we have, if you listen to this, it's kind of cool. That is high pressure. And it starts up, it doesn't sound more like a turbine engine, I think. So now we have our radium fuel gauge and radium pulse damper and regulator. It's about 55 psi. Hard to quite tell on that. If we look on the dash, fuel pressure is 55 psi. So we have last of our important fuel systems. We also have a race mode button, which I can just play with later on, but at the moment I've just turned it to a valet unit, so when I've got the ECU on, I activate it, and the daytime running lights, which obviously with just a bit of a power draw and we're not running the engine, if you can engage this at the moment, it just basically turns any of the light systems off, so at least we're not drawing power while we're on the dyno from stuff they really don't need. But so obviously we have now, from the last time the body was on, this is now attached to the center section. It's also now flocked, and we've sort of filled in these corners, this edge, so it's a nice smooth transition. We've got the headlining in. I've just got to get some glue that I haven't got on site at the moment. Contact adhesive, and I'm going to tape down here a small line, and then we'll just basically fold this around and we'll have the headlining just underneath the windscreen. So basically we'll finish that lining off. But yet again, it's not really needed for the moment. Still have closure panels to make, but effectively everything's now reasonably integrated. Our controller now for the dashboard itself, so basically we can scroll through one of 48 possible screens that you want to program. These are a few that just come with it. Obviously we played around, if anybody saw my Facebook video, So now we have feedback basically from the four corners of suspension. If I stand on the car and, oh, no, that's the lift I'm standing on. I can't try to stand on the car. There you go. You can see now, oops, excuse me. You can see now. So if we have compression of the front or rear springs, or God forbid we have lift on the front and rear springs, we can now map them, because all of these settings now are basically mappable. The dash itself is a logger, so makes things very easy to do that. It's logged onto I think it's a 6 gigabyte bloody card, which is really 64 gigabyte card. So you've got an endless amount of mapping. And obviously with this keypad here, I haven't set up these keys here, but effectively what you can do is you can start and stop logging, and you can change how you want, what you want to log and how you want to log it basically from this keypad. So I don't need to plug the laptop in just to change that, but also the ability of having like all the information. Let's zoom on here. So, let's go back to that. If we go on here, then if you can see all the individual the signals, CAN bus signals that are coming from the ECU, but also from the PDM. If we come into here, so a bunch of these outputs, like even the Grey Hill stuff, a bunch of these outputs are current loads. So basically I can monitor the current loads, not even from the PDM. I can basically monitor from the dashboard, which is just, it's just so ridiculously thing. So, and if we go through, like you've got the voltages, so you've got 3 volts for that particular tire sensor. So you've got voltages, pressure and temperature, individual EGTs for each cylinder. It just goes on and on and on. So like the amount of extra stuff I get on this dashboard over the previous one is kind of silly. If we go to, and that's probably a reasonably road dashboard, it's enough to get there. That's probably the one I run most of the time, but all of these are fully programmable, so you can basically input bitmap images if you want a specific symbol that isn't in the system, and you can play with that. I've never been that particular good with some of the Microsoft's tool to alter. That's something that I will no doubt play with, but at this point it's really just a little bit over the top for me. But yeah, so the car needs a 4-wheel alignment. So I'll basically get out the camber caster gauge, correct any particular camber and caster that I haven't got or have got at the moment, get them to how I want them, probably less than half a degree on the rears and about 1 degree on the fronts, and then make sure all 4 wheels are pointing in the right direction, and then a final bolt check on the back end, and yeah, then we should be basically ready for the dyno. But we are going to have the Evans is going to come out. Sorry, Evan, the engine tuner, is going to come out. He's a bit busy at the moment. They're literally just moving location, so we might end up being one of the first couple of people that he dynos in his new dyno shop, so which would be kind of cool. So there'll be less stickers on the wall maybe, but he is an official Mtron dealer, so maybe we'll push a bit of that just for shits and giggles. Literally everything's in. It's just the commissioning of the electronics which has really been a bit of a pain. Partly my fault for not running everything that's basically on the Mtron pick down list, should we say. So I've got some from ECU Masters, I've got some from CAN Checked, etc, etc. So the dashboard has been really, really helpful, because it's literally a little mini computer, and I can read signals off the CAN bus that the Mtron doesn't like the file or the signal format in CAN bus, and then retransmit them. And I've had to do that for the EGTs because it was the only way I could get that information in there. The IO expanders from CAN Checked that I've used, we have tried to put the update stuff in it, but I'm still not Mtron savvy completely yet. So once we're on the dyno, we're going to get Nick, who's a guy in the States who's an Mtron ambassador. He'll port in and remotely sync up the CAN checks to the Mtron, so we can get there's a few things in there that I'd like to get direct into the Mtron. So it's not particularly needed for the dyno again, but yes, I'd like that information in the Mtron so we can make some decisions, should we say, and it can output some decisions as well. That's silly stuff like the AC pump. I want the AC pump to kick off depending on like throttle angle or RPM. So basically, once you're really on it, it'll just knock the AC out, and then have a button on the keypad that basically will re-engage the AC once you're back into sort of normal mode. But yeah, there's lots of integration stuff, and that was a real pain over the last probably the last 3 or 4 weeks. Oops, sorry. Mate Steve in the UK has been super helpful as normal. When I have some dumb questions, not only is the CAN bus technically a hexadecimal, but what I didn't realize also, it can break down the hex into binary, and then you're using which particular 0 or 1 in a row. So you start from sort of row 1, you've got row 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Each one of those could also reference a point into the CAN bus, and it's, yeah, I'm not explaining that very well. Either way around, I had to download a sheet that basically gave me hexadecimal to binary conversions, because the Grey Hill keypad, so let's get the glasses on, Clive, sorry about this. So like 1 or 2 in hex, obviously 1 is all the zeros and 1, so this one column there could activate just one button, so it's showing the buttons on and off. The next one over could be the second button, third button, fourth button. So basically the hexadecimal didn't always turn out to be exactly what I thought it was going to be, and the PDM needs that information read in decimal, not hexadecimal and not binary. So it was like, okay, so it's like 2 or 3 people that can talk each other's languages but couldn't quite get there. So I had to learn how that was talking. So my mate Steve, you know, God bless him, basically explained that to me in layman's terms, and I think I finally managed to get it. So but again, that was the Grey Hill keyboard speaking to Mtron, because they're perfectly synced, but I couldn't understand some of the information on there to get forward until I realized I've got to actually look at the binary signal, not the hexadecimal version of it. Yes, fun. Learning, absolutely. Pain in the bum and frustrating few hours? Oh yes. But we're close now. We're close. So, you know, we have had the oil system up to pressure with a manual driven belt. We've had the water system up to pressure. We have the water system up to 42 degrees C because we turned all the heaters on, left them overnight, so it nicely warmed up the block. Still no leaks. The gearbox system, obviously we've pressure tested that because it's also an electric pump. Now we have the fuel system in. I did change a couple of fittings to a company that I do trust. So yeah, we're pretty much in. There's a few silly things to do. We've just got to finish this filler neck for the fuel system and weld that in. Then I've got to make a little catch tray tank around the fuel cap. So basically when the clip's closed, if we do get a little spillage, it won't generally just go over the induction of the turbo. It will get ducted into a pipe and then fall through. So, but we are about, oh shit, so fucking jacks left in the middle of the floor. Who did that? Don't smile now, you know you left the jack there. Okay, right, anyway, I'm off ski. So we're probably booking the dyno hopefully in the next 3 weeks. We'll, as soon as Evan's ready, then basically we'll slot it in, get him here for one night, get the initial startup, get TDC double checked just to make sure everything, get it so it's running. So at least I can sort of drive it into the trailer, drive it onto the dyno. But we are not far away now. No, the doors aren't going to go on for the dyno. It seems just like a pointless exercise. And we'll probably take the rear clip off as well, just so everything's exposed. Yes, so hopefully the next video will be either first start and then dyno day. So yes, I'll speak to you all soon.